I've never done a live thing before. Can you guys hear me? Because I jerry-rigged this setup. You should see it. I have tape and it's attached to the shelf above my desk. I have to make sure I don't... I'm zoomed in too, so I need to make sure I don't go out of the frame. Normally I would draw all these out the day I was creating it, but I'm going to be gone almost all of a week of this month out of town, and I kind of need to do some of these ahead of time so it can stay on schedule. So I'm not following any of the so-called rules for Inktober, meaning I'm just drawing whatever I want to draw. There's some, I'll finish this guy up, but here's some other ones I've kind of drawn out. I usually sketch them out in pencil really quickly, and then I go over it with a, this is a Japanese brush pen I get on jetpens.com. Really nice. The soft nib. And I actually posted a movie of this on my Facebook page, so you can check that out. And I do about 9 up on one sheet. I like this guy. So kind of wish I've been inking a lot inside Illustrator with the Cintiq I have now. I'm enjoying it, but the one thing I don't enjoy is, like, when I ink in real life, I'm moving my paper all around like this because it's just easier to go in a certain flow than trying to do the opposite way. And you can't rotate the canvas in Illustrator, which is idiotic in my opinion. I wish they would fix that. I don't like putting my hand on something already inked. I don't want to mess it up, so I had to grab a piece of paper. I think I drank too much coffee this morning. My hands are all shaky. It's kind of adding to the line work, but it's a little frustrating. When it's all said and done, it looks like I'm going to have, I'm trying to do 2 a day for October, Inktober, that is. But I've already done a couple of days where I posted more than 2, so by the time it's all said and done, I'm going to have at least 62. So I'll eventually do a post that I show kind of everything ganged up. And I've tried to keep all of my proportions distinctly kind of square. And I limit my color palette to just black and white. Mainly because I can't invest that much time in these, but I want to have some tonal aspects to it. Sorry, I'm kind of sliding the paper all around. My daughter actually turned me on to these brush pens about 3 years ago or so, and I've been using them ever since. They work really, really well. Almost done with this dude. So at this point, I'll go back in and I'll start like beefing up areas. Kind of put a shadow under his eye. This outline could be thicker. think I'm done. So once this kind of dries out, I'll grab a eraser and erase it all. Actually, I keep these tissues here when I'm doing stuff like this, and just to make sure there's no pools of ink. Now it looks like it's pretty dry. It dries pretty fast. It's permanent ink, so you're not going to smear it unless you really pull it up. But this paper, it kind of soaks into it really well. So I'll just take a white eraser and I'll just go over it, and that'll just remove all the sketched pencil lines underneath it. That. And I have a brush. I've had this sucker for like 20 years, and I'll just brush off all the erasers. I have so many eraser pieces on my studio floor right now. It's really, I need to clean it up. It's kind of a mess. So it's at this point I'm gonna go ahead and grab a Copic marker. I'm just using these grayscale ones. I've killed off like 4 of these things in the last week and a half doing all these. So this is where I'll just go in, and on this bird, I'm just going to go in and start shading it. And these markers, if you haven't used them, they're so much better than the Pantone ones I used when I was in art school. But they work really well, and you can get nice kind of feathered effects with them, so it's not so stark. So a lot of it at this point is just me kind of messing around. Using gray number 3 for the body here. And I'm only, pushing down pigment where I want the colors to be, and I just let the paper show through to work as kind of like the highlight. And I think we're going to leave his breast like a lighter color. So we'll just have it kind of go into that light shade there. And maybe make his tongue that same color and that back part. Let's see. I'm going to go in one step darker shade here. This is number 4 gray. Like that. Do some shading there. And this reflective light on his eye. Hit that. I'm going to make the branch this darker color now. Leave some highlights just to make it more interesting. Like that. And I think I'll do his feet the same color. All looks okay. Now I'll just go in and hit some darker areas on his feathers. That. Go back to the 3, color these leaves. Like that. And the last color I'm going to use is it's another gray, but it's the lightest. And I have 2 of these, and I think this is my dead pen, so I won't use that one. That's one of the ones I kind of extinguish the ink. Yeah, this will work. And then we're going to put some shading on the eye. And then we're going to handle the shading on the beak a little different. This is where the feathering with these pins works really nice. We're just going to create our shading like this. And then on the body, like that, and I think this guy's done. So that's how I pull off an Inktober drawing like this, and hopefully you like this.